All right. Why I do not like slabbing companies. I've been holding off on this one for a little while for certain reasons. But today I'm going to discuss why I don't like slabbing companies.
I used to think you were just about the most perfect person in the world. You're just a slut.
All right. Why I don't like slabbing companies. CGC, CBCS, PGX, UGC, all of that shit. I mean, they're needed to a certain point, but there's just too much bullshit with those fucking people. They switch books. They grade on curves. Uh, the only people that really benefit from them are flippers or shit like that. I really genuinely think like old school collectors or any collectors don't mind having high grade raw. The only benefit to a 9.8 is selling it. And now they've sold nine. Now they've made all these 9.8s that could be possible 9.9s. It's just fuck, and they just did that so they could reslab all the old 9.8s. It's just like that's all they're in it for is fucking money. That's all they're in it for. There's shitty plastic cases. I mean, they look good, but why can't we just do that without the grades? Why can't we? Why can't people that collect books just grade their books and then you go by what they grade it by? You know, I don't fucking know. I don't believe all these books they've grade are even correct. Like they could be giving you fucking books with pages missing for all we fucking know. And it's happened. I've heard so many stories of people getting the books they didn't send in. They got different fucking defects on their books after they sent it in. The old defects they had are gone. The whole page quality changes. It's really fucked up. And you got these people that make exclusives. People make exclusives and they ask for a 9.8 shit. And they make like the Bryce thing where he said there's only 5 or 10 9.8s and I got rid of them all. So there's only 10 copies of this book. Do you think that they really graded 100 books? Do you really believe that he didn't keep some of those? Or it just seems like bullshit. How do you even know if 10 of them even will come out of 9.8? You know? These fucking slabbing companies are a joke. The shit that happened with Who Dat was ridiculous. They make you sign fucking shit that says we are not liable for anything that happens to your book. Once you hand us your book, you can't do nothing about it. We don't owe you shit. It don't matter if we lose it. It don't matter if we inconvenience you. It don't matter any fucking thing. At the end of the day, I've never seen anybody benefit anything besides maybe getting their book back and some slabbing fees. You know how fucking ridiculous that is? You know how shitty of a practice that is? Customer service is horrible. It's horrible. I don't know anybody deals with it. I have never paid for grading books besides books that have already been graded. Only time I've ever bought a graded book is whenever it's convenient and the price is right. I have never took any of my raw shit and I've had opportunities. I find wicked fucking rad cool books that could grade up to 9.8 or whatever, and I won't do it because I have no faith in the mailing. I have no faith in the company, and I just feel like I'd sell it raw. I just don't want to. Even when I buy a PC book that isn't slabbed, I'll keep the fucker raw because I know it's complete. I know how to look at my books. I don't need them to tell me what my book is. And I feel like the only benefit to it is flipping. The only benefit to it's flipping books. I don't think I'm ever gonna slab a book. D.
Hey man, you got to start slabbing books, bro.
All right. Well, you could be the yin and yang in this conversation. Why is it good to slab books?
Hey, for me, I slab books that I how do I put it? It's the ultimate form of protection for the book. It's a great way to display the book. Um, and especially when you know it's going to be a really high grade, it's fun. And I don't. Do you ever? Oh, I got Biggie went off camera. Um, for me, like one of the best parts about slabbing a book is when you see the grade, it's like a scratch off. It's like you get that satisfaction of gambling. So you're like hoping for a good grade. You think it's a good grade, and when you think it's going to be a good grade and it is, it's kind of a rewarding factor to it.
Have you ever had any issues?
Once in a while, but not like what Hudat went through. The only issue I had was my Superman sketch cover from Dan Jurgens. When I first sent that in, it took about 7 months for them to send it back to me.
7 months.
Yeah, but that's because I did that right when they were moving. They were in Florida, and then they moved to Dallas, and I mailed it to them like a week before they went to Dallas, and it was.
Have you ever seen these exclusives that people do? Like, did you see the Bryce mystery box where he had like 10 copies of a book, and it made the book worth so much money, and there was a conspiracy because he said that this was exclusive art and it was actually used before, and he got 9/8, like 29/8, and I don't know that they don't just give certain fucking people 9/8 for no reason sometimes, and I don't trust that.
Dude, that is hard to say because like they claim that they don't know whose book they're grading when they grade it. Like the person that receives it in can see the invoice and all that, but you're not supposed to know who it's for. But when you get a brand new book off the press and it doesn't even go on a shelf, it just goes straight to CGC. That's not that hard to get a 9/8. Like if you package it up properly and it's off the press, you should be able to catch a 9.8.
You would think. Yeah. See, so the story sent 100, and supposedly 20 of them were 9/8, something like that. The story was.
So he sent out 100 and 20 were 9.8s.
I think that's
not actually that high of a percentage.
I believe it. I think it's probably bullshit, but that's what the story was.
Yeah, I mean,
it kind of makes it sound more valuable. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, that's because us collectors are suckers for what we want. You know, like if you're into modern variant covers, like you're gonna chase them, and they're all over the place right now. And there's a lot of cool covers. Like people forget that. Like I talk shit about it because like I don't like modern variant covers unless it's got like Scarlet Spider on it. But like, dude, like there are a lot of people that enjoy that. It's a cool piece of art. And especially nowadays with like people Matt, with people doing like drawing on iPads and all that, you get, I don't want to call it better because it's not better, but you get more detailed art. You get more like art that you could never get with pencil and paper. And so you start seeing really amazing covers that like they can suck you in, and yeah, man,
So
it's
if
it's tough.
if you know 100 collectors and 5 of them have had issues where they lost their books and it got confusing, is that not enough for you to be like, there's some fuckery? And then the stories of actual people having books switched out, like those are factual. Like that's not fake.
I've heard stories all over YouTube. Very Gary lost some about 2 years ago. He had lost some for a while. Then it took them a while to find it. I know that a lot of this the COVID stuff too. But there's another guy in Ottawa by the name of Doghouse Comics. He lost. They lost 2 of his. It took them almost 2 years to find.
Yeah, how do you fucking lose something for 2 years and then find it even? Like that don't.
I don't know, but he had given up. He had given up on them, and and then all of a sudden they showed up.
I've seen. I bet this shit was a lot looser before people on YouTube or the internet media was talking to each other because there was
It
no one
wouldn't
to go to.
surprise me.
Yeah, like my buddy. Well, not my buddy, but the guy I've been watching for years, Doctor Strangelove or whatever the hell his name is. He hangs out with Night Tiger. I seen him talk about his first submission. He sent in a GSX, and he says he didn't get the same GSX back. I believe him. I don't know why he would lie.
Yeah, see, I see you guys. You got a lot of slabs. I only own 1 slab, and I only bought that.
Oh, we was all there like you at one point, Matt. We just, like D hit the bug harder than me, but I still never paid for. What was you gonna say, D?
Well, no, I was gonna say, like, I think a lot of collectors have been down that road before, where you're sure a book is a 9.8, and usually when you start feeling good about that, it's because you've gotten some 9.8s back already. You've submitted books, you thought they were high grade, they came back a 9.8, and then the next time you get a little cocky, and dude, you gotta remember, like, it is literally subjective. And like the dude saying he didn't get the same GSX back, it's possible.
It's possible.
It is, but at the same time, like, it's also possible that he was really just mad about the grade, and he wanted to kick up a fucking firestorm about it. Like, dude, I've gotten grades back that I didn't agree with too. Like, I'll tell you one book I did. I had submitted a book that was in a CBCS slab, and I submitted it for a cross grade in CGC, which means that you get like half off the grading fee because they're going to crack it out and they're going to regrade it and slab it in the CGC slab. And they fucking lost it.
Exactly.
It was lost for like a couple months, and then eventually they found it, and I had a 9.8. It was my reverse flash Professor Zoom Flash 197 book.
Yeah.
And they found it. But that was the grade I submitted. It was the grade I got back. But I'll tell you, that was the only time I've done a cross grade where the grade was the same. So if they got to lose it and then go find me one after the fact, like, I get my grade back, I'm good.
I don't think anything's ever going to change because in their fucking thing you have to sign, it basically says we're not liable after you give us this book.
Yeah, but that's a thing that everybody puts in everything, and I don't know what it's like down there, but they can't just, like, up here, they can't just say, "Oh, well, you signed this waiver." No, there's still an expectation of products liability up here. So I don't know what you guys have.
No, well, here's the deal. So if I send books into CGC, right, like, you got to insure it twice, which is it adds to the cost. But I have to insure it through the post office, which is usually how I mail it with the United States Postal Service. So I insure it through them for the actual cost of what I think the books would be if they were graded what I thought they were going to be. So if that box gets destroyed, I get paid what I thought they were worth. Now, usually I'm going to lose that money because when they see that higher insurance level on a box, they're not going to damage it. But I don't want to fuck around and find out. Like, I'd rather pay like an extra $15 to insure it right than not pay it and have the fucking box get ruined, and then I'm out all that money. So that to me, like I insure it through the post office. Then when you submit the book, they ask you to how much do you think this book is worth? And when you do that, that's how much they're going to charge you for insurance.
Right.
So if CGC then fucks up the book or it gets lost in the mail on the way back to you, CGC is on the hook. But if
Yeah,
you
that's where we get screwed. Wow,
yeah,
because Canada Post will only let us insure themselves up to $100. So
oh yeah, but
this is where Canadians see. This is another reason why Canadians either we should get one of our own, or we should not bother with sending
yeah,
them in.
that's
Because
interesting. Holy shit.
we got to deal with the customs. We got to pay customs on our own shit.
In your own country.
Yes.
Yeah,
I send it to the United States for a service. I got to pay customs to bring it back in because I paid for a service, even though it's technically my stuff I sent. I paid for a service, therefore. So in a case of, say, I bought the book from my comic shop, I've paid customs twice on the same book.
yeah.
So I mean, you guys have a lot of legitimate complaints, but we've got all the same complaints, and then throw these on top. So I'm really against grading.
I don't know if I'm complaining though, because I'm just stating like I know that I'm willing to pay more for the insurance that CGC offers. So if I have $1,000 book and I want to pay less to have it graded, I can say that it's only worth $150.
Right.
But if they fuck it up, then I'm only going to get $150 from them for the book. So like it's really just about being honest when you submit it. Like
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's a good deal, but it's to me, if it's going in my PC, like and it's actually important to me, I'm going to just be honest about how much it costs to grade it, how
Right.
much it costs to insure it, and if I'm not willing to pay that, because you get to see how much it costs before you finalize it. And then you still know you got to run to the post office the next day and pay their fee and their insurance. And if I'm not willing to do that, I'm not going to do it. So it like a lot of people, it's not worth the cost. I literally think it's subjective to how you want your collection to be. And if you're cool with a book not being graded, then don't. Like
Well, I got this question for you, D, because you kind of went through this thing. All right. So when you was playing around with your DGCs and you put like a grade on it or whatever, what stops any of us from doing that? Why can't we do that? Is there a reason?
no, everyone can do it. Like I literally bought I will I'm gonna find it here. It's right here. Dude, this
Why
is
are we
like
doing that? Why don't we just grade our own shit and say we've been grading books for a few years, this is what we think it is, and then if people like our grades, they like them, right?
dude, I bought this from comicskin.com. All right. Like you Google that and you can make your own slab thing, right? It ain't that hard. And I never graded a book. Like every label I made was was a the grade I put on it was either funny or it was like made up. Like I never pretended to grade books. So but anyone could. Like and literally I'll tell you like when I bought this
I like Gator Guard too.
when I bought this from them,
I know I need.
I didn't want. I thought that the label was really small,
Yeah.
so I emailed them and said, "Hey, can you make a new inner well that has a bigger label holder?" And they were able to do it. Like it was actually really easy to get this to be how I wanted it to be. I didn't have to pay extra or anything. They're just able to do it.
I tell you what, if people would fucking do that, I would respect a good grading selling person. I think it would be a good salesman trait if people start grading their own shit. you'd almost get a pedigree
Yeah.
at that point because you'd
Well,
be.
it would also depend on the grader too, because I know some
Yeah.
guys who overgrade and I know some guys who undergrade, and
Yeah,
I
well,
trust
you would know
undergrade.
the person one on one if they're selling it to you and selling the grade. Like
Yeah.
some people would probably think it was stupid at first, but I think it would catch on. I think it would. If I had a bunch of those, I would grade my own books. I'd be like, "This is what I think it
I
is."
mean, I still think in the old system too much with because I do with so many raw. So like I'm still thinking fine, very good, very, very fine. You know, I don't think in numbers as much. And
I don't agree with the low grades that they give some books either. I really don't. I feel like a 1.0 should be like a coverless or something.
Well, that's dude. Like, if you think about it, the a 9.8 is very it's very precise, right? And yeah, maybe it's a 9.6, maybe it's a 9.4, but it's still really close. When you start getting into the low mid grade category, you start to really fuck around with some different grades that, like, you could hand that to 5 different graders at CDC and maybe get a different grade each time. So
yeah, well,
like,
that's the other thing, right? Grading is subjective.
Whenever people say like I like them to be graded because it keeps them in good condition, the only time I agree with that is if you have a really bad copy of something that's chipping or
Yeah.
there's staple rust where the rust is. I've got a lot of books that have staple rust, and they do not go bubonic plague and eat my books. They stay relatively the same because I keep it in a cool, dry environment. And I've never had a book I've owned that just disintegrates in a bag. As long as you keep it in a bag and keep it safe, it should be fine.
so if you look at this inner well right here, you see how much extra space is above the label?
Yeah.
I got this special from them at comicskins.com because I didn't like how small the label was. The label was very thin. This is how big the normal inner well is. And I got a special one that was, you can see the line underneath it. Like, they
Wow.
did that special for me. And dude, like, I liked how it looked, but you know what got me to stop doing it? Um, for me to get it to look the way I wanted took me more time than it was worth to charge people to do it. Like, it was not a 2 minute process where like like, no, like, for me to like customize it and make it look fun, make it look interesting, make it match the book. Like, I was spending like hours on a label, and it got to the point where like I couldn't charge more than what CGC charges, right? Because that would be stupid. So
No.
I would charge like relatively the same, and they're getting a lesser quality because it's from me. I don't have a multi-million-dollar press that
No.
makes these slabs like look perfect, and so they get lesser quality for me just for the custom label. And I started it because of that God, what's the name of that other grading company that
PGX,
not PG,
EGC,
not, there's one other one. Come on, like, it's
EGL,
they're the ones,
EGC.
they're the ones that do the custom labels. Like, not me, but
Yeah, that's EGS.
EGS. Okay, so I got the idea from them because when they first started, they were using um the comic skins, the same ones that I have in my drawer over here. And since then they've upgraded. They now have an actual slab. Um, and I think it looks cool, but because they are commercial enough, they can't cross certain copyright boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for me, like, I was so small time, like, I could use a copyrighted image. It didn't really fucking matter. Now EGS starts doing that, they get in trouble. So they won't give you a Batman logo, but they'll give you a bunch of bats in the background. And it still looks cool as fuck. Like, I love EGS. Like, I haven't used them, but they actually also claim to grade your book. So I never did that. I would just say, hey, what grade do you want? What page quality do you want?
Yeah.
Like I had Don Dada at Comic Books NYC said, I want cocaine white pages or something like that. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. Like I don't give a shit. Like the grade wasn't real. So
Well,
Well,
at the
if
end
I
of the
remember
day,
correctly, most cocaine colors are a little off white.
yeah, I know.
at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not ever going to go out on a limb and send books out to them. I may do a same day if I felt comfortable, but I don't. It don't stop me from buying slabs. Like once you have a
No,
slab, it's generally a
And
slab.
yeah, I mean, I would buy a slab that's already slabbed because I mean that part of the cost is already dealt with.
Yeah.
It's already in front of me. I don't have to deal with all
yeah,
the extras.
And honestly, sometimes
And
it's cheaper to get the slab than a raw. You'll get it
and
better
I
grade.
would buy a slab of maybe 4 books without hesitation, including say 250 Action 252. You know, I know what it looks like on the inside. I don't need to reread it. I mean, I've had other
yeah.
copies. You know, but I mean, like for the most part, I would rather have raw.
It kind of
Well,
makes me. Go ahead, D. Sorry.
well, I was gonna say with you, Biggie. Like I know you pretty good. Like when you have something that's in the mail and you're waiting for it to get to you, you are an anxious fucking mess about that. You do not do well when like your book is like out there in the wild. Like I can only imagine how you would feel once it got to CGC, and then you go to the website and you see that they've received it, and then it sits there for 3 weeks and it
Yeah,
doesn't move.
I
Like
know.
that would
Fuck three
that
three
would
weeks. You and 84 waited like 8 months at a time and shit.
I know that
Yeah.
would really fuck with you. So like I would agree that for you, I wouldn't recommend it unless you went to a convention that had on-site grading. And obviously, with what Hudat went through recently, I wouldn't use CBCS for that.
No.
CGC, when they do on-site grading, they don't take it out of the convention.
Yeah.
They grade them on-site. They have the
Yeah.
machines there on-site, and they do it all in person. Which, if you look at that, oh, there's, oh, I'll just grab the book. Fuck it. No, don't do a thing. So
Okay.
this book right here, this
Yeah.
is the back cover of the book, right?
Okay.
The actual front cover is this.
Right.
And when I handed it to them, I asked them to submit it upside down and backwards so I could get my favorite part of the book up front. And they said they could do it. And when they handed it back to me, and this is with, while I was being interviewed by Comic Tom on his Instagram, um, I realized that they got it wrong. And they immediately apologized and they came back like less than a minute later and it was fixed. So they had the machine there on site to one, pop it open, and two, when you pop this open, you usually break it. I know it's technically possible not to, but you usually do break it. So they had to put it in a brand new slab right there on the scene, and it took them like under a minute. It was pretty impressive. So CGC on-site grading, I would definitely do again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the problem is they don't do that up here. CBCS used to have in Canadian markets. They used to have a place in Vancouver that did it. They've since closed it. So for a while, at Canadian shows, they were at least offering the bring it here, and we'll do the signature verifications, and we'll get it to you to Vancouver and back. So you weren't dealing with customs and all that other stuff. So CBCS for a while got a lot of Canadian orders as a result, but then they closed the Vancouver place down and they stopped going to the shows.
Yeah,
I guess
no.
it wasn't enough money.
Well, and I've had some good experiences with CBCS in person. But dude, like when I heard about that X-Men one, like it just told me that they're not.
No, again, I've always been iffy about them, and then I heard who that story, and it was like, yeah, no, this isn't.
Like, yeah, that is a bad enough story to make me realize that one, they're not watching the book closely enough, and they're putting sketchy people in place of being in charge of that book.
Yeah, it's not good.
You know, and I guarantee you that that dude that stole this book from the inside, hey, Comic Journey, you are not wrong. Their
Yeah.
customer service is balls. It is so bad. But I guarantee you that dude did not decide to start being a criminal when he saw an X-Men 1. He's seen, like, an X-Men 1 is a huge book, but he's seen bigger.
Yeah.
And he decided that day to just steal his first ever comic book. I fucking doubt that. He's been doing it. And I hope they fucking know who it was, and I hope that they actually do something about it so that other people don't have to go through what Houdat went through.
Well, I just can't get away with what I can't fathom is that people think they can get away with this for, like, in the long run. You might be able to get away with it once, but then once is an accident, twice is a coincidence, and then you start getting people's attention.
Well, a lot of people, when they think about someone committing a crime, they think about what they see in movies. And criminals are smart and they're super detailed and they're prepared and they're cool as fuck. Like, dude, most criminals are fucking dumb as shit.
I know.
And they crime comes from opportunity.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. It's like that's why people are muggers.
Yeah. And so when people steal something, they do it because they think they can get away with it. And CBCS put that book in a spot where a dude thought he could get away with stealing it.
Yeah.
And that is and then their checks and balances after the fact did not know that the book was missing until Houdat went to pick it up. That's the part that fucking bothers me the most. Like, I would have had an invoice system that was like, hey, we just marked this order as being ready to pick up. Where are these books? Oh, I've only got one of the two. That's not okay. Like,
second one, who handled it?
Yeah, not okay. Hey, 90 miles from comics, I see you, motherfucker. I only call him motherfucker because his name is 90 MF Comics.
Fucking 90.
And, yeah. Dude, that's an OG right there, man. I miss 90.
Well, I think that the thing is if you have trust issues, don't fuck with them. If you want to keep your books and you feel like, it is kind of a gamble getting grades you want. If you're into that shit, then have at it. But for me, it's completely fine to just keep raw books.
Oh, dude, I never tell people to grade them. Like, I fuck with you once in a while because I know you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
So, but, dude, I don't give a shit what people do with their books, man. Like,
it's up to people. They're going to do what they want with them, and they should.
Yeah.
My personal preference is to not get them graded. That doesn't mean it's not yours, and I'm not going to judge you for doing so.
Yeah. No, dude, like, absolutely. Like, the only thing, like, for me that, like, really, like, matters for grading is, like, if I'm going to buy, like, a really expensive book, I would like to know that I didn't get some clever motherfucker like Bub's Comics from Kentucky down there.
Yeah.
That knows how to expertly marry a fake cover to the real book. Like those people are out there. So I like it to be graded by a pro to know that I'm getting the real authentic book.
And the hard part is the person only gets that reputation by being honest and being in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
So that itself takes hard, because all it takes is a couple people. Used to be hard for a bad reputation to spread, but now with the internet, everything is so quick.
But it's also quick to forget about.
Mm.
Dude, I guarantee you, like, for as many people that know about what happened to Houdat, there's a lot of people that use CBCS, like, exclusively, that have no idea that happened.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the things that, like, I think, like, a lot of the people that get into the, like, comics on Instagram and comics on YouTube, like, you forget that a lot of collectors out there don't do that at all.
Yeah.
They don't want anyone to know what they have. It is a personal collection of theirs, and they don't share it with anyone. Um, and that's a lot of people out there. Like, so like the comic book collecting scene is so much bigger than what we see on YouTube and on Instagram. It is.
Well, that is true. I mean, like, I see that every show I go to. Like, there'll be 200-300 people there. You know, even at
Yeah.
the smaller ones, and it's like, wow, I've only seen you and you and you and you and you. Like, I only personally know like 20 of them or 30 of them tops. You know, but there's a lot of them, and that's true.
Yeah. And a lot of people that do participate are chat only, you know,
Yeah.
or are they only watch, they never chat. Like,
Yeah, exactly. I had never intended to do this, and I got pushed quite a bit. Now
dude, if you go,
I'm comfortable.
yeah, no,
with it. I can see why a lot of people don't do it. I wasn't
No, if you-
comfortable for a long time. So
no, if you go to my YouTube channel, and I'm not recommending that you do, but if you did, and you go to the very beginning of it, like I would make a video like 2 or 3 times a week because it was easy and it was fun. And then like it became a job and a chore.
No.
And a job and a chore that you're not getting paid for kind of sucks. So like
yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know.
But, I mean, my intention of doing this was never to make money. It was always let's see. Okay, what would I like to see? Because I watch what other people put out, but I think to myself, what would I like to see a video about? And that's what I do.
Now Matt, I'm not talking you out of doing YouTube, all right? I
Oh,
0%.
no. I what I'm saying is that's what made me
Yeah.
decide to do it.
But I'm telling you that 99% of the people I talked to about this got into it for that exact same reason.
Okay.
And you either get the fix that you want from it
Mhm.
or you don't. And a lot of people get it for a couple weeks, a couple months, maybe a year, and then they stop doing it. And if that happens to you, I don't want you to feel bad. It's not.
Trust me. When I make decisions, I make them. When I make decisions, I'm good with them.
Yeah, and it's the to appeal to comic book fandom. It is such a small niche market on YouTube.
I agree there.
It is very small. It is very minute.
Mhm.
And you're better off. Like if you're not going to talk about how people can make money from comic books, then you're usually not going to succeed.
Yes, I do notice that the ones that tend to make it big are the ones talking about in the investments, and that's fine. Like again, that's their prerogative. But the reason is like I'm personally not that interested in my collection as an investment. I read them. I'm not. I don't care if I have a 1.1.5 or a 4. Is it like a reader's copy for the most part because I read them and I reread them. Like my oldest books I've probably read 4 or 5 times because I've had them longer. But I mean, everything that I've got in the storage I've read. So I've only got this pile here this big that I haven't read. Well, yay!
I got about 28 books here, and if anybody wants to pay $1 a book,
Thank you, Legion.
and 10 to, or yeah, I think 10 to ship. I could probably ship about 20 books in a legal. So if they want to pay $1 a book and 10 for shipping, you could pick what 20 books you want out of this stack. I'm just going to show them. We could keep talking about it, but if anybody's interested in these.
I'll tell you what, Zach, if you get that done, I'll help you make the little outfits.
I'm not going to tell y'all every damn book. If you know what you're looking at and you want them, just let me know. I got the 1 through 4 Hercules.
Hey, hold on, Biggie, shut the fuck up.
What?
If you're watching this show right now
Yeah.
Hey, you obviously already subbed to Biggie. I want you to sub to Matt Likes Comics. I just threw his tag in the chat there.
I appreciate that, D. By the way, I did subscribe to you because I did want to see your videos.
Hey, I I didn't make a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, so don't
Yeah, well, I
don't.
mean, like even some of the bigger ones don't make a lot of money. Like, you know, I'm sure a guy like Mike at Lunch Money it does okay, but at the same time, he only does 1 or 2 videos a week, so he gets lots of views. But I'm not sure he'd be making a lot from it necessarily.
No, I got really into how I edited the video
Hmm.
and how I um presented it,
Yeah,
and it would I would record a 10-minute video, and it would take me 30 minutes to film it, and then hours and hours of
yeah.
editing it, and I hated that.
I like
And
those
and
Godzilla books there, Biggie.
Yeah, I'm not
yeah,
decent to sell. And I got me one of these today. This is a little key.
That's cool.
You know what that is?
Great Key comic. I live just outside of Ottawa, if you know where that is.
It's the first danger, by the way. Yeah, but yeah, subscribe to those guys. Thanks everybody for coming out. What are we talking about? Lunch Money is a channel compared to the big boy channels. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Well, I mean, yeah. See, someone made a point about Comic Historian. Yes, that's the kind of stuff I really like to watch myself. I was a subscriber to Comic Historian. It's R.I.P. But
that fucked me up that he died.
yeah,
That was
well,
so sad.
I know. I'm at the age there, D, where I have friends that have started to drop too, and it's kind of sad.
No, it never gets like comfortable, like, but I don't know. I watched Comic Historian several times a week,
Mm.
whether it was new videos he was coming out with or
Yeah,
old videos. Like that
I
was
like
like
his
my
enthusiasm. That's what
yeah.
I love that Lex Luthor book that what you just showed there, Biggie.
This is a good one, right?
That is a very good one.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Comic Historian is one of the reasons why I want to do more of what I'm doing. See, you talk about editing. I don't edit on purpose for that reason. I don't want to get hung up on the 50-minute editings and whatever the 2 hours, because you'll always feel like it's never good enough, and then you'll over edit and over edit and over edit. I've decided to go with let's go with the live TV feel. So go. You can't fix it later. So that's how I do my videos.
No,
Another
and Comic Journey just said it. Comic Story never made it about investing or a money grab.
yeah,
He only ever talked about stories, and I loved that.
yeah.
And dude, I became the biggest fan of his. It was like, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. Like he tweeted about Superman never having a Green Lantern ring, and I proved him wrong on Twitter. And
He
he messaged me back.
there is a story from Superman. Now I can't remember if it's Action or Superman, but from the early 70s, that the Guardians had said had Krypton survived, Kal-El would have been the Green Lantern for that sector.
Well, there's also a story that where he lost his powers, and the Green Lanterns um, offered to give him a Green Lantern ring, and they did. And he's like wielding the ring and flying a little bit, and then like Lois is like, "Hey, settle down, Smallville," and he took the
Yeah,
ring off. But
I think I remember seeing that one too. Also, if you've read the Legion of Superheroes, the last series before the New 52, Mon-El got a ring.
yeah,
Yeah, just before the end there, he ended up with the Green Lantern ring, and which was cool because as long as he had the ring, he was safe from lead, so he didn't have to take his serum anymore.
and Hey, Biggie, we're not really talking much. If you want to make us small, you display your books more. You can.
Yeah, it's no big deal. If anybody wanted any of those for $1, just let me know. I need to sell about 20 of them. So if you want 20 books, just let me know. Oh, here comes Legion, by the way.
Here comes Legion.
Hey, Legion.
What up, Legion?
Not much. Just finished reading this. I was a week behind on Dick Tracy. This shit is fire.
Oh, yeah?
So good.
Looks good. Looks
It's
pretty.
like classic Dick Tracy, but like R-rated, I guess, or just shows the violence that is Dick Tracy. You know, it's already mob violence, but if you just show that, it's all of a sudden a hard-hitting adult book.
So I guess Comic
we were
Vet,
talking about Dick Tracy recently.
I guess Comic Vet won that fucking 181, huh? You don't know yet?
What are you
I don't
talking
know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah.
Comic Vet says the greatest mystery box ever. So I'm just quick to assume.
I think that's clickbait. He won like a $90 book, but it was a Spider-Man. It was like a 7.0 Black Cat was his big book. So it was like a $90 book.
I fell for it again. I've been Fraggle Rock, dude.
But you only fall
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle.
No, Alan May won the Hulk 181 and one of the ASM 300s. He bought multiple boxes, and he hit the big GP, which is the Hulk 181, and then he got in another one. He got one of the ASM 300s. But I've seen other people because there's multiple ASM 300s raw that went out and stuff. But he hit the 181 while we were in Heroes.
Okay.
That got passed around.
How many 181s were there? I thought there might have been 2.
One that I know of, the slab copy. I don't know at all. I didn't buy a box. I'm glad I didn't buy a box because those were the only box that looked good. Was the
what? Oh,
that's just me.
No. I love our man from Michigan. Fuck it, his name's not coming to my mind right now. What is it?
Bear Island Comics.
No. Greetings from Michigan.
I have no idea.
You know who it is, don't you?
Not with only the words "he's from Michigan." That doesn't do it.
All right, well, fuck it. Anyways, I like that guy, but I have heard rumblings of some complaints, but it's not my business to get. I didn't buy a box. I don't know.
Well, Becker, are the boxes overvalued? Sure, there's enough books in them to get them there. Like Becker wasn't impressed with his. Izzy was happy with his, but I saw Izzy's and it was utter shit. Comic Vets, I guess he's happy with his. I wasn't impressed.
John's happy.
They're almost $300 mystery boxes. You know what I mean? And your big book is like, in a lot of these is like $100 book, but he curates them. So like you're getting stuff that you should be happy with as the person opening it. You should be happy. But if I were to get Becker's mystery box, I would dislike it even more. You know what I mean? Like he hits you up and kind of says, "What are you into?" I'd be like Hulk 181. Why are you
I'm very much into Wolverine.
Yeah, very much. I mean, I got it. I can use a second copy though.
Yeah, that'd be funny as hell.
Very much.
You need the value stamp to finish your collection book.
I do.
I thought you got a value stamp, Biggie.
Huh?
You got a value stamp.
I do, but it's not the one. I don't have the right one.
Oh
no, Biggie has a video where he put his tongue through the value stamp hole. No, you did it on YouTube, man. That wasn't backstage. That was live.
He separately bought a Marvel value stamp because it was
I
funny
knew
watching him to explain to Melanie.
I bought a value stamp because half of it was correct. The other half wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, it was there, so I bought it.
It'd be fun to have a full set of those outside of the books too, just the whole Marvel value stamp set.
Right.
Well, I saw one selling for $400. Somebody had.
I might buy that shit if I seen it.
I'm no longer as interested in buying the Marvel value stamp set.
I would buy.
I mean, it was a complete set, and I have to wonder: did the person put it together themselves?
Well, you got to think like it's not only the 181; it's the 180. It's the Spotlight 5. You get those 3 fucking stamps. Shit, you can.
Ghost Rider 1 has it too.
It's crazy. Yeah,
It's insane.
those would be valuable. That's a valuable set. I'd say he sold that too cheap. I think that should went for more.
Hey, Comic Journey brings up a good point. How can a mystery box randomly get a grand prize if they are being curated and custom built? Kind of makes me believe he handpicks and gets the prizes. Like,
I remember the guy's name, Jack B, and he's a very gracious, generous,
reputable person. He had a process to it where someone else like picked out. You know what I mean? Like his
yeah.
or something.
We've been involved in those kind of things before.
Yeah.
We helped 84 like randomize. I would hope that he randomized, but
Yeah,
it is a
he's
fair
a good
question.
dude. Yeah.
no, but it just tells you like if you don't trust that process, don't buy one.
Exactly.
I like buying mystery boxes, and I haven't done it in a while, but I like buying a mystery box because it's fun to think maybe you could win. And I did once win a Hulk 181, so like I know what it feels like.
I bought a mystery box once. I got nothing of significant value, but I got a nice little. Ended up being a nice little run filler because I got like 4 issues from the same series that I actually happened to need. So it was if I remember correctly, it was they were Thors or something. Like they were something that they were close in number. It was almost like a guy just picked up 1, 2, 3, 4 and put them in the box. So
Yeah, dude,
it's a complete story. So
hey, if you buy a mystery box, you should be okay with getting books that you don't even want in your collection.
well, my
Like
theory
that-
about buying the mystery box was at the time I was doing a blog online, and I thought, well, this would be interesting to get a mystery box and then read and write about the books I get in the mystery box. So, and that's just it. I got a lot of stuff I wouldn't normally buy, except the Thors I probably would have bought at some point. So,
What are your thoughts about slabbing books, Legion? You missed our first half of our video. Are you a fan or not a fan?
I've got nothing bother me none.
Don't bother you.
No, people do what they want. I love buying slab books, that's for sure. For the bigger books I have, I most certainly prefer buying them already slabbed. I don't send I keep a CGC membership. I send stuff off maybe once or twice a year. I use the credit that you get with it. I just buy most of the stuff already slabbed. I don't really slab modern stuff, so I buy stuff already slabbed often, but
No, dude, that's the other thing is like they give you like $150 credit when you buy the $150 membership.
yeah, it's free.
So like you do have to have a membership to submit them like that, but they literally give you a credit for it. So I'm good with that. Legion, I'm very much like you. If I'm buying a bigger book, I want it slabbed, and if like I send a few submissions off a year, I get my money's worth out of it. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, I mean, like I do have a couple books I thought about doing it. Like my first He-Man there, I definitely thought about it. But again, I'm worried about it going missing now, more so because of Whodad's experience.
Don't send it to CBCS then. Problem solved.
Well, the CGC had factual cases where they switched books and people know it, so it's not like just who
I mean,
does.
they say that. They
I
say
know,
that,
Yeah,
but
no.
factual.
We do, Biggie. Like you say, it's factual.
but it's
Wow.
not.
I'm also telling you that I know for a fact that there are people that get emotional as fuck when the book is not graded the way they thought it was going to be, and they say anything and everything.
There's like people that got arrested from doing it that worked there. This is like
Yes, but that's because in that case they could actually prove he had the books at his house.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real. Like, help me out in the chat. Did y'all hear this story too? Like the guy.
Well, I don't like hearing any of this information verbally, or I want to see a link
The couple
to
of
a
scores
reputable.
from a couple months
Okay,
ago.
D, I will say that what Biggie's talking about was
Yeah.
covered on two Swaggle House videos
Yeah.
and a
Burrow.
You don't have to worry about watching YouTube, D. You can look it up. It's actually covered in like CBR. Like there was a couple
No.
of
yeah,
there was a
there were
literal
a couple
couple.
of
No, there was a literal couple that worked at CGC that got caught tampering with
yeah,
stuff.
that's who I'm thinking
as a-
about.
Yeah, as a couple. They got
No, hey,
busted
we're
out.
talking about Frango Rock. Like Biggie already told me their channel's not reputable, so I'm not. I'm not worried about Swingle House. Like,
No, but
no, but hey,
Matt, in
there
the
are.
grand scheme of things, every single day there's no less than like, I don't know, what would you say, like 50 online retailers sending in at least 300-400 books like every day they get stuff in for their like modern pre-sales for their modern variants and stuff. And just putting that number there, not counting how many people are submitting every day independently their old books, how many vendors at shows are submitting every day. They deal in tens of thousands a day, and every now and then you hear a bad story. If you just percentage that, that's you can't beat those odds. Even with CBCS and that Whodat situation, you still can't beat those odds. You like
Yeah.
it's,
Human error. There's human error. I understand that.
Yeah, so I do get that too, but I mean, like, it's the old, it's the old, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you hear this and like, oh, it's taken me 11 months to say yes. Now I've got to start over again in my mind.
dude,
Like that.
in all sincerity, just grab something you don't give half a shit about, send it in, and watch how easy the process is and how fast it comes back and how fun it was to watch it on the CGC website and to get your first submission back and open it and see your book now in case. Because it's one thing seeing a book that you bought or seeing a book on a shelf somewhere. It's a completely different thing opening a box that has your fucking book in it that you've never seen in that case before. That is a first time feeling you get. And you're like, holy shit.
I believe you, but
But do it with something you don't care about, just to test the process for yourself.
I like that thought.
You're out $30. You'll be fine.
oh no, for me it's a lot more.
No, not for a cheap book you don't care about.
No. You didn't catch earlier. I'm from Canada, and I have to pay extras each way, so that you guys don't worry about, and that's why it gets more difficult for us to make those decisions. It's one of the reasons why Alan won't send them in, because Alan knows that the Comic Collector Geek, he won't send in his own books either very often, because he knows he's got to deal with the double, triple potential customs duties plus taxes plus the delivery fees are much.
Oh yeah,
much
he said they can only insure their shit up to $100 too. By
exactly. So with the Canada Post, we can only go.
You don't have like a point man in the States.
No, I don't. I mean,
because hearing people in Canada, especially knowing people that know people, like there ain't no reason to complain about shit. I've got homies in Belgium that get their shit slabbed through me.
Belgium has easier rules than Canada. Trust me.
No, he just mails it to me, and I do it, and then I mail it back to him. And then I fully insure his stuff. Like he'll buy books and stuff. They'll just be at my house, and then when he's ready to submit, I'll submit them. They'll come back to me, and then I just repackage stuff and mail it to Belgium. Cheaper, fully insured.
I honestly would rather have a raw book. The only times I buy slabs is when they're more affordable than raw. Honestly.
Well, if you were regularly in the market for books that are 3 and 4 figures, you would feel vastly different. But just doing that every now and then, you would.
I'm definitely in the market in 3 or 4 figures. Like when I look for
I said regularly, regularly. If you were like turning and burning books and that figure, you would be like, nah, I don't have time to sit here and critique like the quality of a book with somebody this much. You can't critique it over the internet. You just can't do it.
I think if
I would agree with you. I don't sell books.
Copy, you should go after the raw book. It's totally about what I think the best condition for my dollar is. Only time I buy slabbed is whenever it's a better condition for my money.
Yeah, I get that. If you're just value shopping, raw is going to be the way to go every time.
Yeah, if there's a raw copy that's better than a fucking 3.0, I'm gonna buy it. Like that's the one I want. So, and I do buy a lot of $100 to $1,000. I mean, not a lot of $1,000. I got about 10 or 12. Like $1,000.
I wouldn't say neither you or I buy a lot of them. That's why I said if you're doing it regularly, like flipping like bigger books and stuff, like those kind of people that we are not. If you're turning and burning big boy keys regularly, you just don't have.
Yeah, I never sell them, so it's just
the most I've ever spent on a book is $200 US, and that was the He-Man book. So really, I mean that's another factor, right? So I buy a lot of $20 books, but I don't buy a lot of $100 or $200.
Hey Matt, I like Legion's idea though of sending in a couple send in some low dollar books that you don't.
Yeah.
Maybe you like them, but you don't like. You're not super attached. Like
No
if something goes
sentimental
wrong,
attachment.
yeah. And that
No, I agree. Yeah, Legion. That is a good idea. I might try that one time.
The only
I do know a guy in Ottawa that does nearby that does do batch orders for a bunch of people. So maybe I'll do it through him. But again, he's in Ottawa, so Canada. So we're dealing with the whole other thing.
well, but hey, Matt, here's the other thing I'll tell you. This is another important part. You said you have one slab book, right?
Yeah, it's right
How
here.
many books? Like roughly, how many books do you have?
Oh, probably 5,000 or 6,000.
Okay, so
Slab
here's the
them
deal. No, but here's the deal. Like you seem to be like completely happy and comfortable not slabbing your books.
Exactly.
Like I'll tell you this, like for me, the books that I really want in my collection, it fucks with me when they're not graded.
Right.
So I'll tell you, like I almost envy like having a book in my collection that's raw that I really enjoy.
It's a lot easier to keep them, bro.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's not.
I've got my He-Man is in a nice tight mylar with 2 backings, and it's
Nothing's gonna happen to it.
its own box, and it's
Like so if you don't go down that rabbit hole, you can potentially enjoy your collection a lot better.
He's trying to save you a lot of heartache because once you go down this rabbit hole,
that's one of the again, it's another reason why. Here's another part of my thought process about it. If I don't spend $200, say, getting this particular book, slabbed, that's $200. I can buy 8 more books like this.
True, but here's the other part. Like
this was $5.50 American, so I mean, like for me, that's about $8-9, right? So for me, and so that's
But I'll tell you that like this is the part that like for me it messes with me. All right, if a book is younger than I am, I was born in 1983. I insist on it being a 9.8. And that's just like my personal collecting habits. So
I get away with the little more like that.
Foil Gambit a 9.8.
I'm 53.
Yes, it is.
So
yeah,
I was born in 1971, so all the Bronze Age is
$700-800 book right there. That's
nice
so
book.
hard to find in a 9.8. They're out.
Dude,
there.
I got this off of Elite Comics 11 for like $300.
That's insane.
Yeah, dude, I was super happy. Dude, this is one of the rare instances where I saw the post before almost anyone else did, and I claimed it immediately. No bullshit about a offer. I just claimed it, and yeah, dude, I was so happy.
pretty good, dude.
Could you picture? I've got every Action comic from March of 1964 up. Could you imagine getting every one of those graded?
I've thought about it.
Yeah, no, hey, dude, that would be tough. Like that is
and I'm in the process of it.
Hey, I just dropped my Gambit gold.
No, you didn't.
Oh,
Yes, I did. We're gonna see how it did.
It better not be on fucking hard floor. It better be.
So Matt, you collect Action comics as well? Because I've thought about that, and I'm in the process of it.
We're good. We're good.
We're good. Let me see it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Legion, I was trying to show you the stand it was on. Look at the stand
nice.
I got.
Yeah, who made that for it? That's good.
This is Red Wolf Collectibles.
Yeah, it looks really good. The gold on it too.
And the plate comes off. It's magnetic, so you can get different plates for different books.
I've seen those before. Those are awesome.
And this guy made this one custom for me because I told him what book it was going on, and I'm not affiliated, but I absolutely
affiliated.
I do because I fucking love their service, dude. Like,
I fuck with them.
Oh my god, I fuck with them so hard.
Yeah, he loves it.
Yeah, dude. Like I would tell you if I was affiliated. Like I've not gotten one penny of a discount from any order I've made with them. But when I love a product and a service, I will tell you about it. And they fucked up an order of mine once. And you know what they did? They didn't argue. They didn't ask for proof. They just said, "Oh my God, sorry about that. We'll send you a new one right away," and they did it immediately. So, like
Yeah.
when they fuck up, they immediately try and correct the issue, which made me like
Hey,
them even more.
Snapple.
Price slabs for protection, comic and future liquidity with no argument about the grade. Yeah.
Matt, you picked up all of them?
Oh,
Wow.
that wasn't good. Sorry.
That's the 2022 reprint. That's the 1983 peanut butter reprint. Then there's the 1976 Safeguard edition, 1976 Sleeping Bag edition.
Wow,
My
really nice.
favorite right there, the sleeping bag.
The 1983 Nestle edition,
Hmm.
the 50th anniversary edition.
The
Nice.
sleeping bag's the oldest one, ain't it?
Then there's the
Yes.
same one, but it's the newsstand.
The only one older Biggie is the
1974
1974 first edition one. That's double size or
I
bigger
don't
size.
know that.
The
Oh, the double
Treasury.
Yeah, the Treasury. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a 1992. There's a U.S. Postal Service one.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Tony S. Daniels acetate. So that's
Oh,
from a
that's so
2017. It's a fan expo. That
That's
acetate
a
is
very nice one.
Pioneer Millennium Edition.
Very
Oh, wow.
nice.
Damn, you got
Hey,
everyone.
Legion, you want to see my Tony S. Daniel original art?
2017 Loot Crate, and yes, I do.
That's very nice.
And
That
then
is
the
impressive.
2022 non-slab version, and then of course the convention exclusive they did for it. And I have the first edition Treasury as well as the Treasury size one that doesn't have the border on it, the gold and black border. It's
Well,
just
really
that's a lot more than I
full
knew
size
about.
like this.
Okay. That's dedication,
Oh,
my friend.
there's one more. Hold on, I'm so
Oh, hold
sorry.
Oh no, hey, go back to Tony. Go back to Legion. Oh yeah, dude, that's the
New
I have that
Zealand
too.
mint.
I have it raw though. I don't have it graded.
Yeah, the New Zealand mint. What is this one?
Very
It's
nice.
35 grams of 0.999 fine silver foil. And it gets the special collector label on it. Yeah,
Beautiful.
Huh.
Beautiful.
Here I am. I don't have any.
Yeah, I've got the I have it too, but I didn't get it graded, which I really wish I would. But
It's awesome.
no, it's very cool. So yeah, here's my dude. Hey, look at this. This got sent to me as an AOK. Got this volcano. It's kind of having a little bit of a hiccup. See the artist name right there, Tony
Number
Daniel.
10.
And then it pops its top, and then you got Superman going nuts.
Holy
trying to fucking
shit.
That's nice.
That's
such
amazing.
a beautiful piece of art.
What a reveal, too. Well done.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I love this piece so much. And this is an AOK from Comic Books NYC.
I need better friends.
Dude, I've got some good friends, man.
What up? It's Collecto.
Steven,
Collecto! Seppo, what's up, man?
Gentlemen,
Good to see you.
uh,
All you good friends.
I do have a feeling about slab books. I do have raw books as well, but if I'm going to put money into a book that is of any stature, there are three things about it. Number one, you protect the book, and that's if you're going to invest in a book, say $400 or $500, and you want to protect the book, you put it into a slab. The second thing is, if I should shuffle off this mortal coil, my spouse would not have to argue about or have someone try to take advantage of her about what the grades of the books are, or to have to hire some guy to come in to professionally grade them or then actually then send them in so that there would be no question, which is a huge expense. And the third thing is that it commodifies the book. So if you're a Biggie, if you're in Ohio or wherever you are, and some other guy is up in Vancouver, British Columbia, or in Portland, Oregon, you say, what's the grade of the book? Now, if it's a raw book, you say, well, I think it's a 5. Well, that's subjective to you.
Mhm.
You may be a good grader, you may not be a good grader. But this way, if you say it's a 5 and here is the slab, boom, the deal is done. A 5 is a 5. So for those three reasons, I go that way. Now, that's not to say all of my books are, because sometimes when you buy a book The only one that you can find is a raw book. And then it's just like what Bleak does with to slab or not to slab. What you do is, if it's worth enough money to slab it, you can slab it. If it isn't worth enough money to slab, then you have the book raw, and there really is not there isn't that same drive to have it done, unless there's some sort of personal attachment to the book. So I do both. But if it's a big book, or if it's a particularly expensive book, if you're talking about a $4,000 or $5,000 book, I can't roll the dice on the basis that there's been restoration that I can't see, or if there's something that isn't right, or if it's been trimmed ever so slightly. And then you have the horrible understanding that if you sell the book raw under one basis, and then it turns out it is trimmed, or if there is color touch to it, there is nothing but trouble for you. And the seller's bent out of shape. He didn't know. The buyer's going, why the hell didn't you know this? And you're trying to pull a fast one on me. And then everybody gets all jangled. And to me, it's not worth it. I don't sell, but I mean, but that's the way I look at it.
They're all, again, Stephen, they're all valid points. It's just in my case, I don't tend to seek them out like as something to get, like say you or Alan does. I tend to buy my books. Collector geek.
I know.
No. Well, but I mean, like I tend to buy my books in front of me. Oh, okay, I need this book because I'm in the middle of the story, and I'm that. And for me, I need raw books. So,
well, my entire first collection was nothing but raw books when I started, because there weren't any. When I started collecting in 1959, and then ran all the way up till 1988, when I traded it in and then basically started over again. With the money I realized on my first collection, I had, I think, 65 or 70 long boxes of books that I'd accumulated over those decades, and there was not a single slab in them.
Yeah, there's some books that, like even modern books, that could be worth anywhere from $500 to $900 in a 9.6 to 9.8, and I understand slabbing them. And if you don't slab them, the most you can get them at a raw price is, a couple $100 or so usually. I get that. And
I would definitely look at, if I was buying Ninja Turtles first appearance, I would definitely go slab then, because those black and whites are
it could be a color one too. D. Runk has it right, that if it's a relatively newer book, if you're going to buy a relatively newer book, it has to be a 9.8 if there's going to be any kind of intrinsic value. If you get a 9.2 or an 8.5 or something like that, it's still considered pretty much, unless it's some sort of an iconic book, it's just a modern book. But D has, I agree completely with D. Runk on that one.
Well, I completely agree with D. Runk on that too. I mean, like, modern books are.
I mean, you agree with him too?
Me?
You wait a minute, Matt. You agree with him too?
On the modern book.
On the thing, okay. Well, in that case, I don't agree with him then.
Oh,
yeah. I never agree with D. I always fight him.
No, I agree with the logic is inescapable. I mean, that's exactly what you have to say.
Am I the only person on the planet that really hates conflict?
Hates what?
Conflict?
No, I just like a discussion. I don't need that. I say this.
I'm just goofing around.
Now the old books that are high grade, Steppo, that's cool as fuck not having them graded. Like, you have that really high, cool Brainiac, right?
Well, a nice copy.
I don't know how nice it is, but it seems like a really high grade. You sent me a book that was almost perfect. That's probably 50 years old.
I would say D, that anything less than an 8.0 from the Bronze Age isn't worth it either.
Well, no, and it's important to look at the value of it. Like, here's the deal: like, some people will
92.
Some people will grade their personal collection no matter what the grade is, because they want it to be protected and encased. And I agree with that too.
Whoa. I'm getting a Golden Age book. Look how freaking sharp that is. Good God.
That is a beautiful book.
That is issue number 193.
Action 193.
And here's 242.
Yeah, this one blows my mind.
Another beautiful one.
Well, this should be slabbed. I mean, I just haven't done it. It should be slabbed because it's a very valuable book. But I have it in a light mylar with an acid-free board and a heavy mylar.
Yeah.
And I have them in my nice clean comic boxes, and that's where they live. I've had this thing for 25 years. I mean, I have and most of my silver runs, except for the mega keys, is all raw. I mean, I keep them raw as well.
Do you have a slab copy of that book?
Yeah. No, sir. This is the only copy I have.
Okay. It's interesting. It's very interesting. I think it's cool to have high grade raws myself.
Yeah. Oh, see, that is another beautiful action there. That's the streaky. Hey, that's first streaky, if I remember right.
The computer ain't working right.
So, Matt, you were saying that you were talking about the Legion in action, and you talk about it after Supergirl. Why don't you talk about, if you did? Maybe I missed it. You didn't talk about the Legion before issue 300 in action.
That's because that particular series is about the action run only.
What's that about? I had that book before, Steppo. What do you mean?
The Superman in the World of Mr. Mxyzptlk. That's this one.
Okay, I can prove I have this book because it spells Superman on the dragonflies. I can tell without even holding it up, right?
I think he's trying to fool him. This one you very rarely will see.
Yes. But it's a great story. I mean, the fight between Streaky and Crypto is very interesting.
Can you show that last book a little closer?
Sure.
Hey, Piggy, I got to hop off. Kids are wilding. Thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah,
awesome
thanks,
book stuff.
Nice to see you, Legion.
Yes, sir.
Hey, go take care of them kids.
Bye,
So,
Legion.
you see from the bottom it says US, then REP, then NAM. Superman backwards. Yep.
Us rep nom.
Us rep non. That's how.
Oh, I'm going back in the dimension. Ah.
Yeah.
Hey, what do y'all think of the new Superman costume? You guys seen any of the set photos?
Yeah. It looks
Yes,
like
I've seen it. It's not bad.
I've seen worse.
I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going on a skiing resort to me.
Well, they don't know how they don't want to make it bright like the comics, because then like Christopher Reeves, it was so bright, and then Henry Cavill has darkened it up, and what is it? Brandon Ruth's was relatively bright as well, but I don't know. I do like there is something about that theme for Superman when Christopher Reeve is flying in the flag and all that other stuff. I mean, that's really tough to beat.
Well,
I'm really excited. Go ahead. You want me to go? All right. I'm really excited that he has the yellow S on the cape.
Yes.
That makes me so happy. Like,
yes, I will agree with that.
Every time they've left it off, it has been a CGI reasoning that it is harder to render the yellow S on the cape when he's flying. And that is the only reason why they've left it off. And I'm so happy that it's there.
Geek and Drakes wrote, I hope Supergirl's next outfit is painted on.
Mr. Matt.
That's what Geek said, not me.
Matt was just reading the comments. Like that, don't hold Matt accountable for that.
Look at that book.
I have that book. Cool. That's a good book.
Is that the JFK one?
Yes, that's where the president. Yes, the president is Clark Kent. Yes, and I bought that actually from the same guy. Alan bought a bunch of books off of it.
Yeah, I sold that one recently. It actually turns Superman dumb when he gets the Flash powers. That's just to prove how strong Superman. Did you ever read that one, Matt? Yeah, it's a good one. He's like, what happens when Superman gets Flash powers? He turns dumb.
Which is hilarious because Barry Allen, according to Batman, Barry Allen is one of the most intelligent people on the planet.
Well, he's a police scientist.
He goes cockeyed.
He invented an inflatable suit.
Right.
Well, apparently the four most intelligent men on the planet are Mr. Terrific, Bruce Wayne, Lex Luthor, and Barry Allen.
Do you have any low grade Silver Age?
Me?
Yeah.
Not really. I generally don't. But remember though, Biggie, this. My entire collection from 1965 all the way through 1988, the vast majority of it was less than VG. I couldn't afford anything more expensive to try to build a bigger collection. So everything I had was pretty much VG minus. Every so often, maybe a 5 or 6. But for the most part, they were presentable copies, like 3s and 4s, basically. All raw with spine rolls and various dings and stuff like that. When that all went away, I didn't rebuild the entire thing. I just rebuilt my favorite titles, and that way I was able to then buy them in higher grade. And I took my time to put the thing back together. So from 88 up through 96 or 7 or whatever, there was an awful lot of material out as far as for the Silver Age stuff to buy. And so I had it was pretty easy. But there are these books that are more difficult to find in any given title, which was surprising to me how a book would be more difficult than another book to find. But it's true. I mean, there's some books that are just not, and you may be able to find them, but they're not in particularly
like the first Bullet Girl you got. Like, I noticed you got a 1/8. It's a very beautiful 1/8, but I completely understand why you got it, because you'd never see that book for sale.
Well, there's only 13 of them. And that was the lowest. It was the lowest grade on the census, and the reason it is the lowest grade, that the cover presents considerably better than its grade because the spine is split.
That's very
and that's the reason why. And but this is one of those ones where do you always buy high grade books? The answer for me is no, because sometimes the only copy of a book that you can get is the book that you can get. I mean, you just have to say, do you ever want to see that book again? Or do you like that book? And then you have to make up your mind. That particular master comic, I owe my knowledge of that and its existence because of Alan.
I don't know if he got it before my boy Doc got it. Doc got it in like a bundle.
Yeah, he got that one in a group buy, a lot buy. And Matt says, yeah, did you hear what Man Cave, how he got his? I said, no, I don't know how Man Cave got his. So, yeah, but that was a stroke of luck.
Yeah, they had that hypodermic needle tech, like Tech 35 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they sold a raw to him at his LCS. Like, could you imagine walking in your LCS and, oh, we got this book here? Like, oh, you do? Really? Nice. That'd be pretty fun.
I haven't been very well the last few days, and I'm starting to feel the throat flare up.
Go, Matt.
Hey, you guys, thanks a lot.
Hold on. I have an altering opinion. Matt, stay and talk a lot more.
Okay.
Now,
you don't like conflict.
Take care of yourself, brother.
We're going to wrap up anyway, Matt. We'll see you later, bud.
See you, Matt.
Well, I appreciate y'all hopping on.
You bet.
Yeah, we've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes, and we had a pretty good discussion. I appreciate everybody's point, but the only point that matters is mine. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course. It's your channel. It's your show.
No, collect the way you want. I have no problem with people collecting raw. Like I said, I like Steppo's stuff he said, but I like his stuff he said before he came on the channel. My favorite thing you say is collect the book. You buy the book.
Yeah.
That's what I do generally. If I can get a slab copy that looks nicer than a raw, I'll buy that. If I can
buy the book, not the label. Yeah.
Absolutely. We got one more guest before we go. What up, Budat?
Hey.
What's up?
There he is. How are you, Russell?
Doing good. How y'all doing?
You caught us just while we're wrapping up, but we did bring you up a few times.
You brought me up.
We elected you president. Congratulations.
I did what? Whatever.
You've been elected president. We voted you in. Your duties will include ... That's a joke.
Is he president over North America or just America?
I think he's the president of
the United
Barataria.
States of America or North America or just Bertaria, which is a street in New Orleans.
Did you get
Isn't that
it?
the island where wasn't that the island where Jean Lafitte was hanging out with all the other pirates? And it
Well,
was
they
his
got,
own country.
They got a John Lafitte. They do have a John Lafitte in the Bayou area. So that might be actually the area since it's named after him. I don't know, but I don't know too much about the pirate area besides some of the names after in Louisiana. Oh man, I just finished eating.
We're all going to hang out backstage, man. We're going to get out of here. But thank you, everybody, for coming on and hanging out and talking about slabbing books. We might do this again sometimes. Y'all later.
Big Biggie. Biggie.